This video could be 3 seconds and it would consist of one word. Why? This is being brought to us by Fox News. Cory Booker crosses into Mexico to escort asylum seekers to U.S. by Luis Casiano. Once again, why they cannot vote for you. Like, it's so frustrating watching these primaries take place, particularly when it comes to Cory Booker, because he represents me in the Senate. And I hate this guy. I mean, pause. I don't hate him. I despise everything he represents. I hate everything he represents. As far as him personally, I don't know. I'm pretty sure he's a nice guy. That's the thing about people. If you know him on a personal level, they're super nice. But policy-wise and what he represents, these are things that I just despise. Let's get into this. Senator Cory Booker ventured into Mexico on Wednesday to help escort 5 female asylum seekers to the United States, his campaign said. The 2020 presidential hopeful crossed into El Paso, Texas, port of entry in Ciudad Juarez with immigrant rights attorneys and advocates to get 5 women fleeing domestic violence admitted into the U.S. after they had been sent back to Mexico. Okay, why only chicks? Right? I mean, I think that's a pretty good question. Like, oh, they're fleeing domestic violence. Nigga, you shouldn't have married. Oh, well, it's different where they're from. Then they should stay there and go through those what's the name? Go through those laws. I mean, really, it is like fleeing domestic violence. Is that like terms in which you can seek asylum because you're getting beat by your husband? I don't know. Maybe somebody can answer that in the comments. These women had really horrific stories, Booker told reporters in El Paso. They are survivors of sexual violence attacks. They are being preyed upon. They have legitimate fears. The policy that we have, what it's doing is pushing people who are already vulnerable back into a dangerous situation. Bruh, well, okay, so what would happen if the United States didn't exist? I mean, look, I know that things operate differently in different countries. I don't know how arranged marriages and stuff like that. Like in the U.S., ladies, by all means, you have your rights. You can divorce your husband and stuff like that. There's ways to get away from that guy. I'm not sure, A, where these women are even from, or B, the laws that they have there to when it comes to marriage. But oh, well, my husband's beating on me, so I need to come to the United States. That feels so disingenuous. It's not even funny. Booker describes his visit in a series of tweets, saying the women had been abused and lived in squalid conditions with inadequate food, water, medical attention while detained in the U.S. And you know what that sounds like? Newark. Well, the South Ward of Newark. Not all of Newark. Newark's being gentrified as we currently speak. But these issues that these women are going through are the same ones you once presided over as mayor of a major metropolitan city in the United States. Yet you couldn't care less then. See, here's the thing that really gets under my skin is that you have all these people vying for the votes of, they can't, I guess, of the votes of the migrants and whatnot, what have you. But how is this even a campaign strategy? Where you should be is in Flint, Michigan. Where you should be is in Florida. Where you should be is in, like, if you want to be like doing things for people, they should at least be American citizens. But the Democratic Party is so wrapped up in this border, on this, oh my goodness, we have to take care of these people from the border. I talked to Congressman Donald Payne Jr. We had a really good conversation. He was like, look, man, this is about cheap labor. Plain and simple. He was you know what? I respect. I don't like everything he stands for, but I actually had this conversation with my congressman. He was very forward with me in that moment. I don't think I'll ever be able to get him on camera saying it, but he was very forward. Like, look, this is about the cheap labor, bruh. And so, like, the jig is up, but this is their move. Linda Rivas, an attorney with the Los American Immigrant Advocacy Center, told the El Paso Times the women were victims of sexual assault and labor trafficking in Juarez. And I think it's something about 80% of the women that make that trip from the United States, from wherever country they're from to the United States, are sexually abused, and that's something that needs to stop. And one of the main ways we can stop it is by making it very clear that, hey, you have to go through the process. You cannot sneak in illegally, and that will encourage them to stay home and fix their problems there. Because that's one of my major beefs with a lot of the migration that's taking place. You're sitting there talking about, oh, well, they're coming from dangerous situations. Well, maybe they should stay in those situations and make sure that they're not so dangerous. Maybe they should fight for their country. Maybe they should fight for their homes. I saw an opportunity that I could make a difference with my office, Booker said, and get them fairly evaluated. We're going to follow them all the way through that process. They're legitimate and they should be allowed entry. I still don't see where any of these women are from, though. Rivas said the women will most likely be asked to prove if they face significant risk if returned to Juarez. We hope that they are released from MPP and eventually allowed to seek asylum without being detained or returned to Mexico, Rivas told the paper. Booker is the second Democratic presidential candidate to visit Juarez. Former Texas Rep. Beto O'Rourke visited the border city on Sunday to draw attention to the plight of immigrants, and there you have it. Cory Booker is trying to keep up with Beto O'Rourke as if Beto O'Rourke has a shot in hell of this nomination. I mean, I don't think anybody has a shot at the crown. But, like, if you saw the Democratic debate between, and when Beto O'Rourke just broke into the Spanish, and you saw the look on Cory Booker's face, Cory Booker is chasing after Beto O'Rourke, who ain't gonna go nowhere. Man, this is dumb. Booker's visit comes a day after he unveiled an aggressive plan that would undo much of President Trump's immigration agenda. His proposal would expand protections for undocumented immigrants through executive order and eliminate immigrant detention. But not immigration, right? Because you need those workers, don't you? The Trump administration has come under fire from lawmakers and immigrant rights activists over reports of poor conditions in Border Patrol detention facilities. A recent report by the Department of Homeland Security's Office of Inspector General detailed overcrowding and prolonged detention, as observed by government inspectors at 5 facilities in South Texas. During their visits, the inspectors found many detainees, including children, lacked access to showers and blah, 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 blah. On Wednesday, Trump tweeted that the Border Patrol employees are not hospital workers, doctors, or nurses, and that many undocumented immigrants are living far better now than where they came from and in far safer conditions. And apparently so, if these people were so quick to get over here. But I want to get into Booker for just a few more moments. Because I genuinely believe this guy was made in a test tube to be a prototypical, politician for the most part. And honestly, I don't believe him on anything. I don't believe he's a man of his word. I don't believe that he has any conviction behind anything he says. And I believe he has handlers. And so when people have handlers, such as AOC, they have a script that they have to go by. And there is no genuine conviction within them. They just do whatever they're told to do, as opposed to somebody who thinks critically and thinks, forward. Because anyone thinking critically or thinking forward would not think that this was a good idea. All right? Plain and simple. But with that being said, let me know what you think. All the internet stuff. Like it if you liked it. Sub if you enjoy my fantastic voice. Share, because sharing is caring. And let me know what you think in the comments. Cory Booker, as a sitting United States senator, it should be focused on the United States and Americans. The biggest problem that the Democrats are facing is that they're acting as if America is just a concept and not an actual country. No, we are a country. We are a country. We recently had a bicentennial. I think we're like over 200 years old. We have generations of people born here that can legitimately call themselves Native Americans. There is nothing wrong to pandering to Americans in America, Mr. Booker. That's one of the biggest frustrations, man, because I was born of the 80s and 90s when it was all proud to be an American, that's the song from the guy, but the whole, made in the USA, American made stuff. We give you the quality, baby. And that's the truth. American stuff used to be the tits, man. There's furniture in your grandmother's house that you guys can't move. It takes like 12 guys to move because it's made out of oak and it was made in America and it was made nice and firm. Now, if it lit on fire because of the asbestos in the lining, that's something different. But there's this thing about American quality that used to be pronounced and profound, and it used to tie into American identity. But over the past, particularly during Obama's administration, over the past decade or so, that's been eroded. And now, there's something wrong with being an American. There's something wrong with American politicians pandering to actual Americans. What? Let me know what you think in the comments. Until the next one.